of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission for Thursday, March 1st, 2012. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Go out to Moran.
Here.
Turner.
Here, I'm sorry.
Detrick. McCarty.
Here.
Natoli. Shiner.
Here.
Sheedy.
Here.
After Serna.
Here.
Chong for Yi.
Here.
Walter from McClashen.
Here.
And Peters. We have a quorum, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. With that, would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel, and webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. This meeting is closed captioned and will be repeated Saturday, March 3rd at noon on channel 14. A video copy will be available for clerk checkout from any library branch. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker identification form located at the podium and hand it to the clerk. And with that, we'll get right into the agenda here, and we'll start out by introducing and welcoming new board member Jay Chenier. And welcome, Jay. And I believe that is our only new individual at this point. And we'll jump right into item number one.
Item number one is a closed executive session on 2 items.
Okay, with that, we will adjourn to closed session and
Maybe 10 minutes altogether.
so estimate about 10 minutes. So we'll see how fast Harriet can go with this. Okay.
I think we'll just go in the back. Right in the back here. Okay.
We will go ahead and reconvene the Cable Commission meeting, and any final action to report out of closed session?
There's no reportable action.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item number 2.
Item number 2 is resolution number 2012-001, authorizing the issuance of a subpoena related to an audit of AT&T's remittance of franchise fees to the commission.
Good afternoon. Bob Davison, your executive director. As 2 years ago, we did an audit of AT&T. Then we tried to do the audit, and they told us that we needed a subpoena if we wanted to do the audit. We were actually then the first entity to audit AT&T after DIVCA and after they unveiled their Project UVerse. Now here we are 2 years later. We audit AT&T every 2 years, so we're about to embark on another audit of AT&T. And just as before, AT&T has told us that if we want to audit them in order to get the records and do the audit, we need to basically have a subpoena. So today's action is to authorize a subpoena so that we can perform this audit.
Thank you, Bob. Any questions for Bob on this item?
Well, just one question. So they're not willing to allow us into audit without a subpoena is what they're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's easier for us to issue a subpoena assuming the commission goes along with it, than it is to fight about that.
Right.
And so our auditor will go to AT&T with a subpoena, and that will allow them, the auditor, to look at the individual customer records and those kinds of things that AT&T claims are confidential.
Very good. Any other questions? Good.
Yeah, as I was reading this item, I kind of got a little concerned that we were voting to issue a subpoena on AT&T, so I called Tim Ray over at AT&T to find out what his take on this was. And apparently, for their legal team looks at the issue and says, well, we've got one set of laws that says we're prohibited from disclosing customer information, and another set of laws that requires us to disclose customer information. So from their perspective, it's cleaner for them legally if they have a court direction to provide that information than if they just voluntarily choose to violate one set of laws or the other.
Right, and so this way it works out for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and move resolution number 2012-001. And seconded by, was that Sandy?
Yeah.
Okay, seconded by Sandy. Voice vote, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3.
Item number 3 is Consolidated Communications Holding Inc.'s acquisition of SureWest Communications.
Good afternoon. For this item, we received notice that Consolidated Communications Holding Incorporated and SureWest Communications entered into an agreement on February 6th under which Consolidated will acquire all the outstanding shares of SureWest in a cash and stock transaction. Basically so that there looked like there would be an acquisition of SureWest by Consolidated Communications Holding. Harriet Steiner reviewed this and provided some information in regards to what this means under DIVCA and under California law, and felt that basically within 14 days, local entities need to be notified if there's any transfer to take place. And also, I believe the CPUC would be notifying local agencies if such a transfer were approved. I did call SureWest staff and ask them their take on this, and Greg Garzak, excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong, indicated that things were happening fast and furiously, and that that they weren't even sure of all the details of what was coming forward. But what he did tell me though was that they felt that SureWest, the entity that owns the state franchise, that entity is not changing, so that there's no official transfer that will be taking place. With that regard, he also felt that their only requirement was that they needed to notify the CPUC within 15 days of this when it goes forward. I also talked to Greg about whether the local staff, local government relations staff and customer service staff would be remaining the same, and so for Sacramento, would SureWest look the same or different? And he didn't really know the details of that. He did indicate that the reputation of Consolidated Communications Holding in regards to government relations and customer service was very good, so I thought I would pass that along to you. Subject to regulatory review and SureWest shareholders' approval, the transaction is expected to close in the second half of 2012. And the only recommendation on this item is a receive and file.
Very good. Thank you for that information, Bob. Any questions on that item? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4.
Item number 4 is Comcast adjustment to franchise fees paid to the commission to account for CPUC user fees that they paid in fiscal years 2008 to 2011.
Good afternoon. The commission was informed in last October, that Comcast would be deducting $59,000 from the franchise fees that they were paying us. And they said that this was to make up for franchise fees that they paid since 2008, but to deduct for a user fee that had been paid during that time to the California Public Utilities Commission. They also notified us that since the CPUC will continue to collect this fee, that they anticipate that they will continue to deduct this fee going forward. On a going forward basis, the impact of this is in relation to Comcast, who's notifying us that the actual estimated cost would be $4,900 per quarter, so just under $5,000, $20,000 a year. And for reference, Comcast pays about $2.3 million in franchise fees every quarter. So you can compare that to $4,900 per quarter. The California Public Utilities Commission charges all state franchises this user fee, and it's charged on a per household basis. And currently, this fee is about 9 to 10 cents per household. Comcast claims that these fees qualify as franchise fee under federal law, so that it's in the right to deduct these fees. Harriet Steiner, Commission's counsel, has reviewed this and has indicated that Comcast's action is illegal under both federal and state law. Harriet has also coordinated this issue with city attorneys up and down the state, and that seems to be the consistent interpretation over this action. There have been several correspondences back and forth between Comcast and the Commission, and those are attached to today's staff report. Comcast has told us that they will continue to deduct this amount and that they feel it's consistent with federal law. And today's actions, we're just recommending a receive and file of this report, and that staff will continue to monitor this issue and coordinate with other jurisdictions in the state.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Any questions for Bob on that item? Okay, thank you. With that, we will move to item number 5.
Item number 5 is Sacramento County's calendar year 2012 investment policy for the pool investment fund.
Okay, this is a annual action that comes to your board every year. We participate in the county's pooled investment fund. In order to do so, we're required to take this action every year. Other than some grammatical corrections and 3 companies being added to a list of tobacco-related companies, there's no change to the policy.
Great, thank you, Bob. I know this always elicits a lot of complex questions. Anybody have any questions here? That's what I figured.
Complex or not.
All right, thanks, Bob. And so that concludes item number 5 there. Item number 6.
Item number 6 is staff reports on commission business and items and future meeting dates.
I think we have 3 items to cover under here. This shouldn't take too long. I did want to remind your board that with the coming up in the June budget meeting, we'll be getting several requests from the Public Education Government Channel Facilities Fee, which we collect, and that will be an item of consideration at the next budget meeting. Last year, we approved a budget that included many projects for the local member agencies and Metro Cable, and I'm just going to give you a quick update on where some of those projects are. The City of Citrus Heights, it's one of the projects that we're going to be doing next. They just did roof repairs, so we really couldn't do a project there until they fixed a leaky roof, and I believe that's fixed now. So with that, we're about to embark on a project there. The City of Elk Grove, they did their own project, but we'll be in the reimbursement mode with them. They did significant upgrading in their control room and acquired some other equipment, and we'll be providing them that reimbursement very soon. The City of Folsom had several things in the budget. We've talked to Folsom staff, and it appears that they're going to be revising their request, and we'll be submitting that for the next year's budget cycle. City of Galt is one of the next projects that we'll be doing. We actually had to wait for a wall to be built, and that wall was just completed, and so there'll be a significant control room project in the City of Galt. The City of Rancho Cordova, that project is pretty much complete, a major control room renovation for the City of Rancho Cordova. So the city's control room now includes much new equipment. With the City of Sacramento, priority 1 items were installed this year. I expect more items to be installed next year, and we'll likely get a revised request from the City of Sacramento at next year's budget the June budget meeting. The County of Sacramento, as you know, your board approved a $1 million request from the County of Sacramento for a significant upgrade to these board chambers. I just spoke with county staff this week, and the county is still working on that and scoping out that project. They would like to eye the next winter break when the chambers is dark for approximately 3 weeks as a possible time for construction of that project. They also said that they may be revising their request as they scope out the project, and so you may be seeing an updated request from the County of Sacramento at the June budget meeting. Also, Metro Cable, we did a Synergy server project, which is the playback, the main playback equipment that's used to run a lot of the content that you see on Metro Cable. That was completely revamped. We also did a significant control room upgrade, the guts of which is back in the room back there. With that project, and also we did a project at the Comcast head end. Most of Metro Cable now could be televised digitally. The only link here is that the cameras need to be digital, and with the county board chambers project, it's proposed to have cameras that would carry a digital signal. So, so with the cameras, you'll have from camera to TV an all-digital system. With that, also, Metro Cable expects to do a van project in 2 phases. One phase can start soon. The next phase would likely be next year, and after your board considered that at the June budget meeting. So that's pretty much an update on some of the PEG fee requests that we had last year and where they are for now.
Okay, any questions on, that was, I guess, 6A there? Okay, moving on.
The next thing I wanted to tell you is that we're talking about PEG fees, and we are about to send a letter out to all the member agencies and the channel licensees, the people that program the the PEG channels, and basically saying that we will be considering a request for the June budget meeting. So all member agencies will be notified that if they would like to submit a request for public education or government channel facilities, that they may do so. Given the interaction last year it might have been a little bit of a surprise to people not knowing, but I think most of the member agencies now know what the source of funds are and what the process is. And so this year likely will go a little bit smoother in regards to communication. Not that communication was bad last year, it's just that this is becoming a much more known item. Of course, that may lead to more requests too. So we'll see how that pans out in the June meeting. But those notices will be going to the channel licensees and to the county executive and the city managers and other technical staff of the member agencies.
Okay.
And then the only other item I have is that the next board meeting that I anticipate will be June 7th. We have an April 5th and a May 3rd meeting scheduled, but it's likely we'll be canceling those unless business comes up. So as we've been doing, we'll coordinate with the chair and cancel those meetings on a going forward, ongoing basis.
Okay, and I hope the board here doesn't mind that we try and avoid these meetings as much as possible. So. Okay, so again, just looking at that June 7th meeting is most likely our next meeting then.
Yes.
And that'll contain a lot of that budget.
That will be the budget meeting,
Okay,
and so
very
that's
good.
usually that's the longest meeting
Our
that we
most
have.
popular meeting of the year.
Most popular, most attended, and likely to be the longest.
Okay, very good. Any other questions for Bob on these items? Okay. Item number 7, I have no request to speak from any of the franchisee licensees, so we will move on to item 8, the channel licensees and grantees, and I have 2 requests to speak. We'll start with Joanne Fuller for Access Sacramento. Hi,
Good
Joanne.
afternoon, commission members, staff, and guests. I'm Joanne Fuller. I'm a county resident and have met several of you when I was more active in the city of Sacramento, and really appreciate your efforts. I now chair the board of directors of Access Sacramento, and just wanted to especially invite you to our open house. I think Ron Cooper, our executive director for Access, is going to tell you a little bit about the many events that we have coming up that we're planning for. We have a very ambitious and energetic year, and fortunately we have a very ambitious and energetic board of directors, so we're going to do a lot this year. Ron will be sharing with you some of the details of events that Access has covered and that kind of thing. I did want to just direct your attention when you get this packet for Access to the page that says, "Come on down to our open house." The theme this year is going to be Express Yourself. So we have mugs saying express yourself and that kind of thing. We'll be showing some of the videos that the youth in our community, particularly around the nonprofits that we're working with in South Sac, so we'll have that. But the afternoon itself will also feature some of the news media here in Sacramento that collaborate with us on this website that brings together all the videos that we're helping to be made in Sacramento and get those picked up and out into the mainstream news source. So we're excited about that, excited about people coming down to the studio. Bring the kids, they'll get to see themselves on television, hear themselves on radio, and that kind of thing. So that's Saturday, April 21st from 1 to 4. It's at the Coloma Community Center where the station is located, and that's in Councilmember McCarty's district, and that's 4623 T Street. So look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for taking the time to come out, Joanne, and your service on that board. Any questions for Joanne? Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Next request to speak is Liz Rhodes. Since Ron just realized he didn't turn in a speaker request.
Too late, Ron, sorry.
That took me by surprise, too. Hi, I'm Liz Rhodes. I'm the Executive Director of the Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium and DESNet. Got 3 things I wanted to report to you on today. And Ted, glad to see you got the wardrobe memo. That blew me away, sorry. I want to talk about Yeah, want to talk about BestNet real quickly, and then a project that we've completed with Twin Rivers and Elk Grove, and then an update on some of our facilities that were done on a shoestring with no PEG money that we're really excited about. So we're going to hold that video for just a minute, okay? Thank you. BestNet, we've got we have 45 schools, elementary schools, purchase orders turned in. Our big problem was we had more money from the schools than we had matching money from you for this year. So that's good news because we were concerned that we weren't going to get enough from the schools. So we've got 45 schools online and Comcast. We met with them last week and the contractor, so we're moving forward on that, pushing Comcast to get those done by the summer. They said realistically probably going to be their third quarter, maybe even into their fourth quarter, but they're doing the priority schools, the schools that are on month-to-month agreements so that schools can give up those telco month-to-month. So it's really going to be a huge savings for those elementary schools. And they're spread across the districts. We're not singling out any one single district to go first, and I can give you that list if anybody wants it. The second thing is I've got a couple of DVDs, if I can. This was a very, very exciting project, and I think I reported back to you on the Elk Grove portion of it, 21st century learning skills. Huge in all of the schools, and a lot of professional development going on it. So Elk Grove we worked with Elk Grove to produce a series, and this is the completed series for Twin Rivers. And the exciting thing to me about it is that the districts are working together, realizing that they have limited resources, and these are also being shared statewide. You can, if you have time, maybe just take a look at it, but it's out in all of the schools, so it's very, very exciting. It's on our website, it's on we're streaming it, it's also being aired on our cable channels. So we're excited about that. The last thing that I wanted to let you know is that we have been working on our student educational video project. It's a year-round program, and we do a lot of staff development and development for students in cooperation with Capital Public Radio and KBIE and News 10 have been this year where we've hosted some of these events. What comes out of these events is teachers and students that get excited, and we have these people that come in and say, you know, we've got your little starter kit. You guys funded those starter kits years and years ago, and they're still in use, and we add to them every year. Some of the schools are using their cell phones as cameras. So what we try and do is look around and scrounge and take cameras and equipment that isn't being used anymore. And when we find an excited teacher, an enthusiastic teacher that wants to create a program in a school, then we supplement with them. So what we were able to do, this past 2 months, we opened a facility at Cordova High School. Teacher was using camera phones, and the kids were very excited. The other one that would just kind of blew my socks off is San Juan High School. Got a huge grant and is building a new facility. Money that you gave us back in 1987 was where we bought equipment to put in the studio out there. That equipment is no longer needed. San Juan said, you know, if you've got somebody that wants to use that equipment, we can move it. We moved it over to Grant High School. And the exciting thing about Grant High School, and I'm going to show you a video of this, is that you also funded a joint facility out there years and years ago for Access Sacramento. And over the years it was closed down, and the facility was sitting there, the room was sitting there. So the school and the district cleaned up the room. There's an exciting teacher out there, you'll meet him on video. We took the San Juan equipment, supplemented it with some funds that we had, some funds that Grant High School had, and funds from the district. And if we can roll that video, you'll see the outcome. Some amazing, amazing students.
I've been teaching here for 5 years now. I teach the ROP Advanced Digital Media, which used to be the television occupation program, in which we learned how to produce packages for broadcast. Our primary responsibility was the morning announcements, and the way we shot the morning announcements was through camcorders. But what we didn't have is we didn't have 3-chip CCDs. We did not have video mixing equipment. We did not have the dollies and the tripods that we do now to be able to produce live broadcasts like a real studio with a control room with multiple monitors that allow you to have a director and have a video mixer to be able to record to a DVD, which is a nice digital format.
Students can use the computer lab for homework.
I enjoy this class because it's interesting and it's going to help me later on in my music career.
It's only been about a month since we got the equipment in. We just looked at the budget, brand new when it was state of the art. That was about $51,000 worth of gear that's come in, which is really cool. Cameras that are huge, that have huge lenses, not the camcorder lenses, but real lenses. The tripods have got the remote handles on it with focus on one side and zoom on the other side, just like a real television studio. We've got 2 teleprompters. They can read, they can switch live. It saved a lot of time in production. Increased the roles, number of people that are involved in the production of the morning announcements. Opened up the door to a 7th period program that we call GSPN, Grant Sports Pacer Nation, which focuses on sports and academics, and they're using it also. So it's not just for my ROP Advanced Digital Media class, but it's been opened up for a lot more.
It's created an entire new atmosphere, and like I said, the exciting thing about it, he says $53,000 worth of equipment, not a dime on equipment, all stuff that you had, equipment that you had funded, you know, in the past that has been repurposed. So anyone who's getting rid of any old equipment, please see me. I have use for it. So thank you very much. I just wanted you to see the difference of what, you know, the difference that you make and the things that can still happen in spite of tough, difficult financial times.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for all the great work, Liz, and I'm not so sure that our cell phones aren't going to be better than most of that stuff soon, so keep using those. Okay, with that, last to sign up here is Ron.
Hello, everybody. Ron Cooper, Executive Director of Access, and a little handout here, but before I talk about the handout, one of the interesting aspects of the Grant Studio is that young man, Sid, because he started with Power of Youth in and our digital production efforts working with young people as a teenager. So now he's been an instructor out of Grant High for 5 years now. So this is the long-term benefit of working with youth and really adapting and adopting technology. When they're exposed to it very young and they get excited about it, you can see that kind of enthusiasm. So just very briefly in the handout here, as I try to do, just kind of touch on some of the events, but the handout includes a more detailed invitation, as our chair, Joanne Fuller, was talking about, to the April 21st open house. We had a nice turnout last year, and we hope to see even more of you again this year. It's a great showcase, but also we set up the auditorium at the Coloma Center as a Wi-Fi hotspot, and we invite the local media to come in and demonstrate their websites, which are now more and more interactive. And as you've probably heard us talk about before, our website, accesslocal.tv, directly feeds Channel 10's My Neighborhood aggregated vlog site and also the Bees Sacramento Connects. So they'll be talking about that. The other stations, Sacramento Press will be there. So it's a great opportunity, the only one that I know of that actually brings all these different media outlets. And we're also inviting the library, city and county government, anyone that wants to showcase how they're evolving the use of their website, because as we all know, that's becoming more and more important. Also there is the update on 66 different events that have been covered or planned to be covered in the next couple, 3 months. The agreement we have with you for Hometown TV and Game of the Week is to cover a minimum of 50 events. So we're well over that quota. And coming up this coming weekend is the Power Balance Pavilion kind of local championship, girls and boys. This year we'll be covering divisions 1 and 3. And then the following weekend, the state community college men's and women's games out at Cosumnes River, and that will actually be streamed live to other community colleges around the state. So that's very exciting. Just in conclusion, in the first year of AccessLocal.tv, we have surfaced, created, aggregated, collected more than 450 press releases, videos, stories of all kinds. And again, that's just focused on South Sac. So look forward to the next year, and look forward to presenting to you our proposal for the next year, because a year ago, I remember Cortez Quinn asking, well, what about North Sac? So that's going to be part of our plan that we'll present to you, an incremental phased approach, but of using the lessons that we've learned in South Sac, now serving other areas of the county as well. So we thank you very much.
Thanks. Thanks for coming out, Ron. Okay, that's the last request I have on item number 8. Any requests to speak on items not on the agenda?
No, this time, no.
Very good. Okay, with that, any comments from commission members? We are adjourned.
Thank you.